In this video, I'm going to show you how you can give your AI agents access to the web and real-time data. We'll do this together by integrating web search functionality into your AI or MCP server, and I'll take you through everything in the whole setup process step by step. Don't worry, if you're not technical, there is no coding required. Everything that does need to be coded, everything is templatized and built out so that you can simply follow the tutorial along, copy and paste. All right, let's dive in. Now, Alex, why would you actually want to give your AI agents access to the web? Well, if you weren't aware, most training or knowledge cutoff for AIs is either 1 to 2 years old. And in an information rapid world that we live in today, 1 to 2 years old is pretty much irrelevant. So we want to give essentially the latest information, the ability to search the internet to get the latest news, info, data, whatever it might be, fed directly into our AI and give them the ability to use this tool. So we'll start off here with Claude. Claude is an example, but you could be using any AI. And here's a quick sample of if I asked it for the latest news today without any AI tools or any search tools. What is the latest NVIDIA news? And you'll see it will tell us here, as of my knowledge cutoff in October 2024. So this is all old news. Like none of this is useful, relevant. The same thing applies if it's referencing docs for coding data. It's referencing anything needs latest data these days. Now let's do the same thing, but this time with our MCP, so web search enabled. So I'm just going to go here and turn it on. This gives it all of my tools, including the web search one. And we'll do the exact same thing. Just copy this query, start a new chat, chuck that one back in, and give it the search again, or ask it the question again. You can see this time around, it's actually doing a web search. Now it's using here what's called JSON code, but it's essentially putting in all the data that the tool we will set up today needs to get the latest information. Now we'll set this up in a way that all of the AIs will automatically know how to use these tools. We don't need to teach them or train them. All of that is built in the system that I'm going to be walking you through. And there we have it. You can see this time it's actually pulling in the latest news. So this is awesome. This is exactly what we need. And then we could take this data and pass it to any other tool, any other information, build it into our AI stack. There's so much that we can do with this. Now, we'll be building this out in 3 core steps. The first part is we'll be fetching our Tavily API key and setting up the Tavily search. Tavily is an AI platform that essentially enriches data or gives it access to the latest data from the web. It's a really cool, smart search API that more or less allows an AI to replicate human behavior with searching similar to how we would be searching on Google or on Bing. From there, we're going to configure that API request together. Again, do not worry, you don't need to know anything about APIs. This is almost just a copy and paste from the template that will be linked down below. We'll then link up Tavily or the search to our MCP server, as we've already connected our MCP to our different agents, and that is what will give our agents access to the web. If you're not sure how to set up an MCP server yet, just have a look at the last video. Same as this one, I give you everything to get started. It's a 5-minute setup to give any of your AI agents access to new tools, just like the one we're building today. And lastly, we connect that MCP to our tools. Now, we've already done this, but I'll give you a quick example of this anyway through the video today. We're doing this entire setup through N8N, which is what you can see on the screen here. If you do not yet have an N8N instance set up, you need the setup done, go have a look at, again, video on the channel, links down below in the resources, a complete 5-minute guide that essentially takes you from no setup without needing to know anything about infrastructure or code, get you an entire N8N instance deployed so you can use it with anything to your heart's content. But let's get started with the Tavily API. So the first thing we're going to do is head over to tavily.com. This is what it looks like here. Go ahead and log in or create an account. And we'll be using Tavily for a couple of reasons. One, it's probably one of the most popular AI search engines or AI enrichment tools. But more importantly, on their free tier, it gives us 1,000 searches a month over API. And realistically, I don't think we're doing more than 1,000 searches a month, at least individually. They also then have really great pricing once you want things to scale beyond that 1,000 limit. So go ahead and log in and sign up. Once you're logged in and signed up, you have an account that looks something like this. And here you'll find your API key. I won't show you mine, but for the most part, all you need to do is go ahead and copy that API key. And that's what we'll be using for authentication in the video. Now let's jump back over to N8N and get this build started. So the first thing we're going to do is part 3 here, the web search API via Tavily. So with the template open, again, template linked down below, all you need to do is download it. And then you can click the 3 little buttons here, import from file, and import this entire template that you see on the screen here. We're just going to grab these 2. So I'm going to highlight them Control C or Command C to copy. And I'm going to go and create a new workflow. I'm just going to call this one for the video demo AI search. You can call it whatever you like. I like to call the tool type workflows get workflows, just so they're organized. So I know get web search, get web scrape, get tasks, get emails, anything like that. You get the idea. So we're not going to create anything as a first step here. We're just going to do Control or Command V, paste in what we copied from the template workflow. So this is the starting piece that we need. And what this does essentially is it tells the AI all of the different queries or the variables, parameters, options, data points that need to be fed into the API. What it will then do is it will feed what the AI is giving it, and it will either apply it, or if the AI doesn't use that field, it will pre-fill it with a generic setup. As a quick example, if the AI doesn't input news as a topic, the system will automatically set the topic to general, just to make sure that the search results are always returned, even if your AI forgets a step. Now, this is actually almost done. All we need to do from here is connect our API key. So what we're going to do here, click on the Tavily API node. Then from here, you'll find an option with header auth. This will be empty because you don't have my credentials. But all you need to do for this is click on the dropdown, go and create a new credential. For the name, we're just going to set this as authorization. And for the value, we're going to set our Tavily API key. So to do this, we're going to start by typing in bearer, so B-E-A-R-E-R space, and then go and copy your Tavily API key. Let's do that here. Jump back over to N8N and paste that in. Now, finally, before we save, name it something that you can remember. Say we call this Tavily creds or credentials or something like that. Save that and you're good to go. Everything else is pre-configured and it's all done for you to connect to the Tavily API. Now, next up, we need to connect this Tavily or web search API call to our MCP server and also give it all the right instructions. So we're going to do this again together. So I'm just going to first select my Tavily AI search node here. Once again, I'm just going to copy it. I'm then going to jump over to my MCP tool. Now again, if you don't yet have an MCP server set up, do not worry, it takes about 5 minutes. I've got a whole video, no code, below history. It's the video that we released just before this one. So go find your MCP workflow. This is the one that you would have already connected to different AI agents. You can see I've already got a Tavily AI search here, but I'm just going to delete that one. And we're going to redo this configuration together. I'm just going to go Control or Command V to paste that back in. And then from here, we'll double click on it. You'll see it's already pre-filled with all the data that we need. We just need to make sure that we're picking the right workflow. So under source here, workflow, you'll see from list. And now select from the dropdown and just find the last workflow, the one that we just created and named Tavily or get Tavily results or get AI search, something like that. So if I scroll down here, I should have one under my get. Yep, get web search Tavily. That's the one that we just saw. You can see all of the workflow inputs are automatically defined by the AI with the instructions on how to use them. These are all the fields that are required for that search to do more complex or advanced searches and to allow the AI to control how the search works. Alrighty, and then the last step here is just grabbing that node and connecting it over to our core MCP server. And that covers setting up the MCP as step 2. Now, so far we have created or connected to the Tavily search API. We've got our API key, we've defined all of the variables, everything is set up. We have then taken that search functionality and connected it to our MCP tool. So all of the agents that are already connected to that same MCP server immediately have access to the tool. Now, all that's left is to begin actually testing and using this tool. Now, I'm going to do this straight on the workflow that we have here, just so you can see it in real time and all working. So we had our MCP server set up before. We now need to connect to that MCP server. All of this, again, last video, all about connecting and setting up that core MCP. For this use case here, I've got it pre-configured with what we set up in that last video. I'm just going to connect to it with the tool here, and I'll open the chat on N8N. And let's just give it a test. What is the latest NVIDIA news? Beep, boop, beep, boop. See, it should run through the MCP as it is. And there we go. Once again, this time through N8N, we have access to real-time data. And that pretty much wraps up the video today. So in the video, we covered a few things. I started by showing you web search through Claude. That was a Claude that was already set up to my one main MCP server. We then configured web search through Tavily's API setup. We did that through N8N with all those pre-configured templated nodes that I gave you that are again linked in the description down below. We then connected that API and web access to our MCP server. which is a server which all of our different AIs talk to. That's so that we can just build out our tools for one place, one MCP server, and then all of the agents that are connected to that MCP receive that tool instead of having to rebuild the tool each time for each of the agents or the AIs that we use in our day-to-day. And finally, with everything up and running and connected, we tested the tool out to make sure that we could actually get real-time data. Now, that wraps up the video for today. In tomorrow's video, I'll be covering a similar setup, but we'll be introducing a new tool to the stack, which is a web scrape tool. Similar to the web search, this allows you to specify different websites and scrape all of their data, or it allows you to take your interactions with agents a step further, where you could ask them for real-time data and then ask them for additional information on that data. The agent will then know it can search the web, but then it can click on those search results and scrape all the information so it knows exactly what it's fetching. So until tomorrow, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate you coming around and checking out the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments down below, over DM, through our community, which is also linked below, or however you can find me. And until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.